because in today's reading, in reading the first part of the gospel, it reminded me of the Passover. Because when Jesus, the first line of the gospel, it says, "Let us cross over to the other side." And I reflected what that Passover means. Crossing over, crossing over waters. That's what they're doing. And it's the same concept if we look at it at the Old Testament. There's the Passover celebration of the Old Testament. What is that celebration about? It is the freedom of the people of Israel from the slavery of Egypt. That's what the Old Testament's Passover is. Then Jesus came to the New Testament, and Jesus gave us a whole new Passover. In his death and resurrection, Jesus gave us the freedom. Remember, notice the difference. Freedom from the slavery of Egypt, but Jesus now is giving us a new freedom. Freedom from sin and death. That's what Jesus did. So Jesus then is inviting us to this crossing over on the unknown. And these young people and I, we will be on a flight crossing over the seas from Maui to Oahu, which all five of them know nothing of what they're getting themselves into. But yet they have to trust in God. They have to have a trust that God has a purpose for them. That God will want to free them from whatever it is that they're going through. But not only that, in order for us to move forward, we have to get free of ourselves from what's holding us back. So that we can cross over. We can move to what is better for us. Why sleep? We sleep on a cushion or a pillow. And then tomorrow we're going to be on the plane, so keep in mind, tomorrow, whenever I get on the plane and it's about to take off, I fall asleep. Don't wake me up. Okay? It's just how it is. Every time the plane goes off, I'm knocked out. And then I only wake up when they wake me up. Ace or sir, would you like your meal now? But isn't it beautiful when we get into a nice, restful sleep? A peaceful sleep. We yearn for that good REM sleep, as the doctors will say, so that we are refreshed for the next day. This image of Jesus in the boat is an image of Christ present and at peace with us in the church. But many times, we don't see that peacefulness because in here, in our own hearts, it's chaotic. But we find peace. And everything around us, even though how chaotic it can be, we are so calm because we know Jesus is sleeping here. We have forgotten who he is and the memory of who Jesus is. So therefore, the church in her wisdom, remember, this is a memorial, a memory. Jesus says, do this in memory of me. So what does he give? Many treasuries for us to look at, to how we can continue to remember Jesus. One of them, read Scripture. That's how you remember that he's present and he's alive. The other one, sacraments. Participate in the sacraments. That's how we are reminded of who Jesus is and how we can be at peace with him. What are other things? Well, again, the boat. Who's in the boat? Every single person that's here. Either you're sleeping or you're not, but you are here present in the boat. Connect with people. Create community, fellowship. This is how we are reminded of Christ present in our lives. By all these little things that the church gives us. Ministry, Bible study, men's group, all these things, thousands of them. But we decide not to cross over to enter into them because we like to hold on to whatever it is that's enslaving us. And then Jesus, when he woke up, the first thing he said to the disciples, quiet, be still. Yes, life can be chaotic. Pain and suffering of life is part of living in this world. Whenever I do funerals, especially for burials and whatnot, I always remind the families at funerals, pray for your loved one. And they will be praying for us. They have the better part. We're gone. We still are alive. We got to go through the sufferings. and we gotta pay taxes still. They don't have to anymore. And it comes with life. But when life starts to hit us from every direction, we must turn to what Jesus said. Quiet. Be still. Take a moment away from the chaos and enter into the peace of Christ. This chapel right here is open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come and sit there. Nature is created by God. It's good because God created it. Spend some time there. Maybe set aside a small space in your room or your office or your home as a quiet space to enter into the silence and await Christ that's in your heart. Remember who He is so that you may find that peace in the midst of the chaos of the world. And I hope that these 5 young people, when they come back Friday, they have encountered their God in the 5 or 6 days that they will be on Oahu and find peace with their God. And not only that God will dwell in their hearts, and hopefully that as they cross over going to Oahu, they're going to cross over coming back here. And it is a hope for all of us as Christian family that these 5 young people will eventually become leaders of the church in the future. Hopefully one of them will become a priest. Or maybe the guy that's holding the camera over here. Who knows? But we assist them in our prayers. When we too are at peace, they will be at peace. This community will be at peace. And that's, my dear friends, is how we can live this gospel message of Jesus.